Hello, everyone. Welcome to BEC Talks, the exclusive podcast for the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre, where we will be exploring different facets of entrepreneurship and small business. My name is Prince Khan, and I'm the supervisor of our co-working space located at 41 George Street down in Brampton, right across from Gage Park. If you have a business or you're looking to accelerate, come see us at the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre or visit us at www.brampton.ca/BEC for more amazing resources. Everything we do offer is free of charge. Today we have a very special topic, a topic where a lot of entrepreneurs tend to explore because it is so popular. We're going to be talking about food. And our session today features a very special guest and a client of ours who has been an advocate of our services for many years. And this client has been running her own food business since 2018. With the food industry being so super competitive, we thought our guest today could discuss strategies for business owners who are in this space or are considering starting their own food business or are looking to grow their footprint in this space. With that said, I want to welcome Amisha Moorjani and welcome her to the show, and I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
Thank you so much, Prince.
Before we get into our questions, Amisha, I want to step back into 2018. You jumped ship after working several years in the banking sector. What inspired you to sort of pursue this industry as a whole? What made you go down the food route?
I want to say life and frustration. But it was actually long before 2018 that I started the business, that I conceptualized the business. So I'd been working in the banking industry. My last role in the corporate world was branch manager, where I was in charge of my entire branch. And there was a lot of responsibility, but unfortunately I did not have enough authority to make the changes that I thought would benefit the branch, which always happens in the corporate world, right? You have a lot of layers of people above you, and you have to get approval. But my thinking and my vision were much faster and much quicker, and I wanted more quicker turnaround for the ideas that I had to implement them. So I decided to take a break. Of course, life happened on the personal side. I decided to take a break, quit banking. And bear in mind, I already had a bachelor's degree in foods and nutrition. So I had already learned, and coming from India, food as a healer was very much ingrained into my psyche. So, if I had a cough or a cold, the first thing my mom would be like, oh, honey and ginger. So instead of saying, hey, reach for a cough syrup or something. So things like that were already ingrained. And I had found, after being in Canada for so many years, actually North America, because I used to live in the US before, being in North America for so many years, I found that connection with food as a preventative strategy and a healing strategy for any kinds of diseases was not there really. And I wanted to bring that back to the tables of all individuals, and I didn't want to be exclusive. I wanted our food to be very accessible for a lot of people. So I got this amazing opportunity So I was already collaborating with chefs. So our executive chef, Manish Cornelius, he was already running his business. I had been helping him out in terms of kind of giving advice, because that is what I used to do with my customers at the bank. And so he was at a point where there was something kind of not missing, I want to say, but there was something, and I had a different concept in mind. So I decided to take over the business, rebrand it, new menu, new everything, new vision. And it just so happened that, right place, right time kind of a thing. And that's how the Food Quotient came into being.
Incredible. And, when we look back at the history of all this, it started with some of the things that your mom had taught you about the natural remedies of healing. And what I've heard from a lot of people is what you put in your body is what you're going to get the output.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm glad your business is focusing more on the healthy lifestyle and helping people feel good about themselves. So what is the most important steps to take when you're starting a food business?
Have a vision. That's the number one thing. What do you want to do? And an even bigger question is, why do you want to do it? For me, it was I really had this idea in mind that I wanted people to have access to healthy food, and not healthy in terms of, it's just either it's greens with some salad dressing, or it's, boiled food or things like that. I wanted people to really enjoy food as I enjoy growing up, eating good food, healthy food that was made at home, made from scratch, not something that was frozen. So that was the whole idea that I had in mind. And so the most important thing is have a vision of what you want to do and why you want to do it. And then, of course, the next thing is, are you able to do it? I mean, I might have this brilliant idea of creating, I don't know, coding like a new software, but I don't have the talent necessary for it. But then, having said that, am I able to hire talent that can work alongside, along with my vision? So that's the second most important thing. And I think the third most important thing is reach out to Brampton Entrepreneur Centre, because you guys have been so helpful from the very beginning. I think I came to, so I actually moved from the city of Toronto to the city of Brampton for the sake of the business. So I actually kind of uprooted myself and moved to Brampton. And of course, I was exploring a lot of things on how I can get help with the business. And Brampton Entrepreneur Centre was the first thing that showed up. And that's how I got in touch with you, especially with you, Prince. And so get the help, because that's the other thing is, and I want to say especially for women, we don't ask for help when we need it. So places like the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre, the advisors that you guys have, so that you can have a proper business plan laid out, and you know the steps that you have to take in order to make your business successful. So definitely these three things.
Amazing. And we appreciate the little plug-in for the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre. We always appreciate that from our clients. And I love the fact that you talk about the vision and the why. A lot of people think about starting a food business because they think it's something easy that they can start. But it's not easy if you don't have the right resources in place or the right knowledge in place to make sure that the business will actually succeed. Like, you need a good chef, you need a nice location, what does your branding, et cetera, look like, right? So thank you for the plug-in, but I also really appreciate the vision and the why purpose as well. What role did your market research play in developing this whole idea? I know you went down more the healthy route, so can you talk to me about that a little bit?
So I've been a big foodie all my life. I love eating good food, and I love trying different cuisines. So I would say market research has been all throughout my life. I come from a family of people who love good food, and we enjoy eating out. So that research has already always been there. But in terms of market research, I specifically, because my vision was to make food accessible to everyone, I was in Brampton. I did not want people to drive from downtown Toronto, especially to Brampton, just to have our food. And so the accessibility part, the solution to that was to do meal delivery. So when you're hungry, it doesn't matter. You don't have to wait for the restaurant to open up for you to enjoy a healthy meal. You have it in your fridge. You warm it up when you're hungry. It may be midnight. It may be 9 o'clock in the morning. You have a healthy meal available. You're at work and you cannot leave, but you have a healthy meal with you. So meal delivery was the ideal solution to what I had in mind. And so, of course, I did research in terms of ordering food from meal delivery companies to see. First, I researched, okay, which ones are the ones that are popping up on Google search. And mind you, Google search back in 2017, 2018 was not what it is today. Right. So I had to dig down a lot more. And so when I did the research and I ordered the food, I realized there was such a big gap in terms of the money that was being charged, the food that I was getting, and the kind of food that I was getting. The quality, the taste, all of those factors came into play. And so my menu was designed with my knowledge from my university course, with a lot of research that I continue to do to this day. And also with my taste buds, I want to say. Market research was, I still do market research.
So it's fair to say that market research is an ongoing thing.
Absolutely. You have to, because you need to know what's out there. And listen, it's not like you need to reinvent the wheel. If there is something great that another company is doing and you are able to do it better, why not?
Yeah, no, that's true, and a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to do that research when there are sometimes people out there already that are kind of replicating or doing something that you want to kind of see as your vision. So this is a really loaded question. So how does a restaurant really differentiate its brand from a crowded market because it's so saturated?
I think it comes back to the vision and the why. And then, of course, knowing your own strengths. And that's pretty much it. That's how you differentiate. So for the Food Quotient, my vision was to. So I was already seeing when I was like back in 2017 when I was looking at what's out there, because that's just who I am. I'm very curious. And I was looking at what the trends are. I saw that Netflix at the time was kind of more. Like a lot more people were subscribing to Netflix, which meant I'm sitting at home. I'm not going out to a movie theater. It's not going to be dinner and a movie at a restaurant, like, having dinner in a restaurant. So I was seeing that trend already. The other thing that I was seeing was there was a lot more focus on plant-based and veganism, but plant-based food. And I said, that's the one thing that's been missing all along, like in North America. When I go to eat out, even now to this day, there's not a lot of fresh vegetables that you see. I mean, you take any fast food restaurant, you just have fries and fried meats,
exactly.
Right? So there's not really a lot of vegetables. And the more I read, and of course from my university days, I was seeing that there was a lot more emphasis. People were realizing the power of good food. And so that was my vision. It was to have healthy food that is made fresh, minimally processed, accessible to everyone. So that really was the whole brand of how the Food Quotient. And in fact, there's a big, like, very unique story for how the word or the name, the Food Quotient, came by as well. But if we have time, but that was how I differentiated the brand, and of course, the brand colors are so important. The concept was very simple, and therefore the name, the logo, the colors in my brand are very simple as well. So it's very simple. It's nothing complicated. Just like our food, it's stuff that you can buy at the grocery store and cook yourself. But instead, we do it for you.
And simplicity is always the best way to go with your customers. One thing I really liked about what you said was the power of good food, right? And when you go into business, especially, I guess, in the food sector, you have to know what that differentiator is. And for you, the differentiator was the good food that you're going to give and the power people are going to get out of that, right? So incredible. So you've been in this space for several years now. So now, can you tell me about some of the marketing strategies you found to be effective in helping you kind of scale and grow?
I know the first thing when people hear marketing strategies, the first thing that comes to mind is social media. Yeah. I think the number one thing is face-to-face, talking to people. I think that's marketing 101 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think COVID taught us a lot about. First, we called it social distancing, and then people realized, no, it's not social distancing because we have other tools to be in touch with people. So then we started calling it physical distancing. But I think marketing strategies, number one is obviously, talk to people, find out, tell them about who you are, especially for a new business, just go out and meet people. Networking is a great marketing strategy. The other traditional forms of marketing strategy, of course, social media is huge. In that too, I would advise caution, because I have found even with myself, it becomes too overwhelming because there are so many social media platforms. And yes, people might think, oh, Instagram and TikTok, but there's so many other platforms. So pick and choose, do your research and find out where your customers are and be on those platforms. And listen, it's okay to not be on a platform where some of your customers already are. As an example, Pinterest. I'm pretty sure a lot of my customers are on Pinterest, but I do not physically have the capacity to be on Pinterest, and therefore the Food Quotient does not currently have an existence on Pinterest. But I know I have the capacity to be on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and that's where the Food Quotient is present. The other thing I have found to be really effective is emails. I am wanting to move into SMS marketing because I find more than emails, people are actually
Right.
looking at text messages more often. I know. So that's something that I'm exploring. I haven't found a good solution for it yet, but yeah.
I do have a restaurant that sends me promotions from time to time, so I see that. And you're absolutely right. Networking is the bread and butter of marketing, and a lot of people tend to be too scared to go to a business or go to, especially in the food sector, or go to a municipality or a large corporation and say, hey, you know, what would it take for me to get some catering orders with you guys? Right, and it's okay to get rejected, right? At the same time, you're learning from the process and seeing how you can improve that. And you're right, social media is kind of oversaturated. So again, finding the right platforms, but then also utilizing email marketing and using, you know, one marketing expert told me years ago, it's social media is 10% of your marketing. The rest of your marketing is your email or your SMS in this case, right? Yeah. Where you're actually physically being able to talk to your customers rather than just doing blanket outreach.
That's right. And again, with social media, I think it's more of for the masses. With email and text marketing, you can actually personalize it based on a lot of the data that you can collect over time.
Excellent. So let's jump ship a little bit in terms of sustainability. Do you have a sustainability model with your business?
Oh my God, that has been the number one thing from day one, actually from day zero, I want to say. Because here is the thing, and it's not just for the food business, but as a business, as an individual, if you are not aware of the environment that you are in, and if you do not take care of it, I mean, we only have one planet to live on. So if we are not taking care of it, individually and as business owners, then you know what, we are doing something wrong. So this is almost like a wake-up call to everyone that is listening to this, is please look around yourself, and is there something that you can do as an individual to better your surroundings, to better your physical space, and then please do it. And that is the thing that I have said from, like, it was like a no-brainer, because again, coming from India, where we try to reduce, reuse, and recycle as much as possible. It has been more of, reducing usage and then reusing stuff. I still remember my mom used to, I don't think she does it anymore, but she used to sew bags out of old pieces of clothing, and she would take that to the vegetable market. So you know how we have farmers markets here. That is a way of life in India from the very beginning. So you buy fresh produce from the farmers market, and you would take these cloth bags, and then they would just get washed. So that has already been kind of, again, in my DNA. And so it was a very easy, it was not even a conscious thing, because it was very part of who I am, and part of what the business is all about. And so we've been very focused on compostable, because we are like a takeout model. It's not a dine-in restaurant. I saw there was a lot of plastic usage in terms of the containers and stuff. So back in, I want to say 2019, I moved to pulp bowls, which were not the in thing at that time. We used compostable cutlery from the beginning. Obviously, fresh produce, not frozen, so it is not traveling long distances. Minimally processed, so again, less of a carbon footprint. We even actually, as a business, we are not required to, because that's just how the system is set up. But as a business, we do sort out our waste. So we compost, because we have a lot of produce waste that comes out. So we compost, we recycle, and then our garbage is very minimal. So yeah, environment and sustainability is a huge focus.
Amazing. Just to kind of flag on that, is that part of your marketing strategy as well, where you can say that we are environmentally sustainable, and then you provide them ideas on, how you actually, compost and make sure you're managing things on the environmental front?
Yes. Can I do better on it? Absolutely. But yes, it has been, because we've also partnered with this company since 2021. It's called Friendlier. And we use returnable containers for our takeout food. either those or compostable or fully recyclable containers. So we have a different variety depending on what food we are putting out there and for what purposes. So we have meal delivery, we have catering, and then of course we have our takeout as well. So yes, environmental sustainability is part of the marketing strategy, is part of the brand differentiator. And I'm very proud to say that we also won an award in 2022 for environmental sustainability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that was from the Brampton Board of Trade. So we were the winners of the Business Excellence Awards in environmental sustainability.
Yeah, these are things we don't think about, even as entrepreneurs, where we can have a small differentiator just by thinking more environmentally conscious decisions, right? Excellent. Food quality and safety. So, in your opinion, what are some of the best practices to ensure that you have the best quality food and you're not, running into a situation where you're creating an environment where it's contaminated or causing issues?
So the biggest thing is it food that I would feed my kids? And the moment I start thinking about that thing of, there is a saying in the restaurant industry, when in doubt, throw it out. And that's what really people should be doing. Don't be like, I might be able to salvage it, and could, God forbid, it might lead to someone making an emergency trip to the hospital. So food safety, I think actually with the Food Quotient, food safety and quality, that's the other thing that I'm very proud of. Chef and I are both on the same page with both of these two things, is we do not compromise on the quality of the food and we do not compromise on food safety.
Amazing. This is making me hungry already.
Yeah.
Just to come to Food Quotient.
Sure.
If it's fresh, I'm there.
Yeah.
So obviously getting fresh supplies at times can be a challenge. So how do you handle supply chain issues if they ever come about?
So it goes back to the vision. The whole idea was seasonal produce. Yeah. So if, let's say, and there have been times where customers have pointed to pictures of the food that we put out, and that's actually, it's not one of those free images available. Is actually the pictures that you see on the website or anywhere else. Those are pictures of our actual food, and wow. Yours truly is the unofficial photographer for the Food Quotient as well. But so yeah, customers will point out, I want asparagus. Meanwhile, asparagus is not in season. So, and so the description, and I've been very particular about our menu description, because that was another thing I found lacking while I do my market research, even to this day, is most restaurants will not explain what's in the dish. They'll just put the name of the dish, and then it's up to you to figure out what is in it, right? So I've been very conscious of putting the allergens on because we are an allergy-friendly restaurant as well. And also letting people know what is in there. So the verbiage is such that if there's vegetables in it, we will write seasonal vegetables. And if it is not in season, or if it is something that's coming from the other end of the earth, then I'm not going to be using it. So that kind of helps with the supply chain issues. Yes, there are things where, specific items might be, like we had, I believe in 2022, there was an issue in the Egypt canal, where there was a ship that was stuck for a few days, and that had big time supply chain issues, but then we find ways around it. And in those kinds of circumstances, our customers understand.
Fantastic. And you mentioned that, some people make dishes and you don't know what's in those dishes. Now I'm curious as to some of the things I eat. I'm glad you laid it out for us. I appreciate that. What skills do you think are essential for anyone wanting to succeed in this industry? What are your thoughts on that?
That's a very tricky question to answer, and the reason being is, for myself, I'm a good cook, but I'm a good cook for my family at home. But chef has had, I think, almost 30 years of experience working for different high-end restaurants. And so he comes with his own set of skills. So yes, I know how to cook. I understand a recipe when I read it. I understand what it'll taste like. But the actual thing, scaling up a recipe from 5 people to 500 people, how do you do that? That's where you get a chef involved. Right. So those are skills. So can you hire for certain specific skills? Yes, you can, but you cannot really hire for like yourself. You have to have the right attitude. So in terms of what skills are necessary, I was not part of the restaurant. Nobody in my entire extended family is part of the restaurant industry. So I had to teach myself a lot of things. But I had the right attitude to learn. I still do. I still learn every single day. And I think that is more than the skills. I think the attitude is more important.
Amazing. I'm going to ask you one final question, and it might be something you're going to have to really dig deep inside. What has been your biggest failure or failures, and what did you learn from that experience?
So many along the way. And that's a great question, I think, because we all talk about successes, but not a lot of us are vulnerable enough to talk about failures. Failure, I think, for me has been just kind of, now I was thrown into the deep end and I had to swim or drown when it came to the entire food industry. So I had to teach myself a lot of things. Along the way, there were a lot of failures. Some of them were where people thought, oh, because she's new, because she's a woman, because she's brown, they try to take advantage. That has been the case. There have been times where I have wanted to get a particular high value order in, but I have not been successful in that because of they knew somebody who knew somebody, and so I did not get, even though my product was better. Yeah. I've had failures in the sense that people have tried to take advantage of, it's a new business, so I'm sure they'll be able to, if we kind of squeeze them on the pricing, they'll do it for us. I have done it. I have paid from my pocket. So yeah, there have been a lot of failures kind of along the way. The biggest thing has been I have seen how big corporations take advantage of the little guys. And I do not like that. And I've just tried to figure out ways of how I can overcome it and how I not do that to other people. So
yeah. Entrepreneurship is really about learning and just adapting to seeing these situations occur in front of you and then trying to figure it out.
Yeah, just have a thick skin. That's all I will
say.
Yeah,
you gotta have thick skin.
And it's okay if you have to have a good cry, but just then pull up your socks, roll up your sleeves, and get back into it.
Good stuff. I'm very proud of you, Amisha. You've done great in the industry, and I'm really proud to have you as one of our clients. And I appreciate you coming on our talk today. It was amazing learning about your journey, and hopefully we can continue the conversation offline.
Thank you so much.
So, just to wrap up with everybody, if you have a business and are looking to accelerate or even are interested in entrepreneurship, come see us at 41 George Street at the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre, where we help clients like Amisha scale and grow their business. We offer free business consultations, in-person seminars for any entrepreneurs looking to up their game. And visit us at brampton.ca/BEC and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you and enjoy your day.